What's up, guys? Live here at Pro Play Games with Mario. He was playing Mono Blue Goku, and he made top 8 here at PPG's 34-player Dragon Ball Super Tournament. So he's going to give you a profile of what he was playing. All right, let's check it out.
Yeah, so for the leader, we got Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku. He's really great for this build. The whole theme of the build is really just to ramp up and use his ability to reuse and abuse your mana. So you never really have the amount of mana that you have in play. If you have 1, you really have 2. If you have 2, you really have like 3. Just because you get to attack and then reuse the mana. When Goku flips, like all the other leaders, you draw 2, and then his ability is when he attacks, nets you a card, and then you untap 2 mana. So the whole purpose of the build is to just ramp up the mana and then use the mana that you have already in play to net more board over your opponent. That's how I've been playing. So we'll start with the battle cards. So 1-drops, I have Majin Buu. Energy Boost Buu is really good. He's a 1-for-1, comes into play, you draw a card, and then he stays on the board. You can use him to combo later on in the game, so he's really useful. The next card I have in the deck is Kind Saiyan Son Goku. He helps you filter out the other Gokus that are much powerful in your deck, and he is also like a card balance. So even if you play a matchup like Broly or Vegeta, he helps you stay even or positive on your hand. So the reason we have him is because we have plenty of Goku targets to fetch from. The next Goku target, which is Rapid Spirit Ball Son Goku. We have 4 of in the deck. What he pretty much does is you can evolve him in for 2 mana, and then his automatic ability is whenever he comes into play, you untap 1 of your energies that you have open. So if you evolve him, he's a 1 cost for 15. If you play him normally, he's essentially a 2 cost that untaps you 1. So he's really, really good. The next set of battle cards that we have are Assailant Vegeta. This card is really good just to put pressure on the opponent. So he's a 3-drop 15. Pretty fast tempo that you can start building with Goku and then just putting pressure into the opponent. The critical mechanic is really what makes him amazing. The fact that you can make your opponent either ditch to save themselves, or they're going to have to lose whatever card they're going to net from the reward. The next card we have in the deck is a 3-of the Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku. So it's a 4-drop for 15k, very similar to Vegeta. He's got the critical mechanic, and then during your turn, if you've got 5 or more energy, you get the +10 buff. So early game, he's still pretty good because you can still attack for the critical mechanic. Once turn 5 and up happens, he's even better because he's 25. So he puts a lot of pressure on the enemy leader to have to either ditch cards or just take the hit. Following that, we have 4 of Energy Boost Beerus. So Energy Boost Beerus is like the murder spell in the deck. He's 4 mana, or 4 energy, sorry, 20k with double strike, and then when you play him, you can KO anything on the battlefield. So there's no requirement or minimum on that. If they just play something really big, you can use this as a response to KO it, and normally that's how I do it. Also, the fact that he's got 20k puts a lot of pressure late game on the opponent with the double strike mechanic. Following that, we got 3 Super Saiyan 3 Gokus. So this card is really in here to help you burst through if you need the extra attack on the turn, because when he evolves in, you give him dual attack. On top of that, he's 20k with the double strike mechanic. So late game, he becomes a really heavy beater on the opponent, and it helps you to net extra attacks out. So it forces your opponent to either take the hits, and if you put them in a position where they can't take the hits, which with this build you can, then they're pretty much have to expend their hand to stay alive. The next card we have in the build is 3 Vegeta Prince of Speed. This card is great for what it does. There's a lot of Broly and there's a lot of Vegeta leader in the meta. So with this card, it helps you to just filter more cards into your hand. He's also pretty big. I mean, he's double strike with 20k, and if you really want to, you can evolve him in so you can play him turn 4 and keep tempo going. Following this, we have God Charge Vegeta. He's 25 with dual attack and critical, and he evolves in for 5. His auto ability is sort of neat. You can use it with the turn 5 Vegeta or the turn 3 Vegeta that we covered. Pretty much when he evolves in, you can pick a blocker that they have on the field, bounce it back to the opponent's hand. And this card is just phenomenal at putting huge amounts of pressure onto the opponent. It's a lose-lose situation for them. If you attack in with him, they have to either take the life card and put it into the discard because of the critical mechanic, or they have to ditch a bunch of cards from their hand. So it's a lot of hand control with this Vegeta. And the fact that he's dual attack lets you swing in and then untap, and then you can swing in again or just leave him active mode so that they can no longer attack into you. And then the final card in the build that's a combat card is the God Break Son Goku. So this is just a late game beater. You almost always get him on the field for 6 because you have so many Goku targets, and then he's 30k, double strike, your opponent can't counter him, and your opponent can't use blocker. So it's kind of like I'm going to force all the cards in your hand out. If you combo in with him and you time it correctly, it can be super devastating for the opponent's hand and their board in general. Now we can cover the dedicated combo cards in the build. So these cards over here are cards that I never played from onto the field. They're always from the hand. So we got 4 boost attack Piccolo. If you've got 4 or less life, he nets you an extra card in the hand, and it's plus 10k for the turn. So it's pretty good. I would say this is a staple in almost every deck. There's one in each color. So really recommend that everyone runs it at 4. I run it at 4. The next dedicated combo card is Jocko. So Jocko is a combo card that says that when you combo with him, you get to pick one of your opponent's combo area cards and bounce it back into their hand. So if they use something like the Beerus card that when they combo with it, it gives them double strike, or if they have any card in general, you can play combo Jocko as a response in a combo, bounce it back to their hand, and then most likely you're going to net positive. Then we have the extra cards. So we've got 4 Whis' Coercion, it's a staple in blue, to negate untap 1, so it keeps with the whole theme of keeping your mana open. And then finally, one of the best cards in blue overall, Senzu Bean. Playing it for 1, netting you another energy back, so it's pretty much a free play for giving something plus 5 during the turn, plus 5,000 power during the turn. So if you use it defensively on your leader, that your leader is if they're flipped, it's going to be 20k the whole turn. And even on offense, you can use it to tempo. So you can use your Goku to attack, untap 2. Then if you have enough, you can play Senzu Bean to untap another one, possibly play something else, another creature from your hand or another battle card from your hand, and then you still are left with 1 open. And 1 energy is all you really need in this build. Almost everything is either free or requires just the 1 energy. And if it's just 1 energy, it's probably free or netting you advantage on the defense.
And then the sideboard, these were the relevant ones that you used today to clinch the top 8. What were significant about these?
So Objection is, I have a love-hate relationship with this card. It's good if your opponent doesn't have a lot of hand control. So if it's not a Broly or a Vegeta, you don't really lose anything from it. You just have to be very careful. It also gives you something to play in the early game. So a lot of the energy curve in this deck is mid to late. So in the early game, it also helps to advance. Now I have it sideboard towards the end of the tournament because I just saw so much Broly, so much Vegeta that to me, it wasn't worth it. The other card I have at 4 is Mighty Striker Son Gohan. So the reason I had that is because he's a 4-drop for 25k double strike. So he's very vanilla, but he's really good at what he does, which is he's huge power and puts a lot of pressure. You can, the way I use him is to combo extra things in the late game, attack my opponent's board to clear their board out, and you can also put pressure on the opponent's attacking card. And then the last one is 1 God Break Son Goku. So the reason I have it at 1 is because I already have 3 in the build, and I just kept it there just in case there were matches that I felt I wasn't seeing it enough, and I felt that it was a very stall kind of game. So if you're playing against a very stall kind of matchup, you can substitute any one thing in the deck for one of, and then you're pretty much set up for your late game, so that you can attack in, and then you have 4 of to make sure that you guarantee and see it.
All right, cool. Nice deck. Thank you for the deck profile. Anything significant you want to say about the tournament? Anything about your experience? Anything that you would change?
Yeah, I mean, it was great. was not expecting like 34 players to show up, so it was pretty big. But I had a ton of fun. The game is a lot of fun, so please support your local shops. Get yourself some of the product. It's really great. And overall, just play Dragon Ball Super. It's the best game out.
It's a really fun game, super cheap. If you guys haven't checked it out, we do have a tutorial for all you Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, Pokemon players that want to play something on the side that's not cheap and pretty fun. I mean, that is cheap and really fun. Then definitely check it out. Thank you again for attending our tournament. We'll be having it every Saturday at 3 p.m., so make sure you catch out our content. And thank you again for coming, Mario.
Thank you. Thank you.
Double Dragoons, 3 of these, just 1 and 1.